planning to rule against Peter Obi and Atiku at the Supreme Court. Goodluck Jonathan's ex-AD alleges. Yeah, we know that that is what is going to happen. The CJN, that is Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, obviously is going to rule in favor of Tinubu now. Tinubu is his principal. It's Tinubu that made him to be there, so he's going to start to reciprocate. And I'm sure Tinubu has paid heavily for that, the same way he paid heavily for the tribunal to pass the kind of judgment they passed, the same way he paid heavily for INEC to announce the controversial election result, the same way he paid heavily for the Yorubas and the, to fight and kill the Igbos in Lagos to deprive them of voting their choice. So I know that that is what they're going to sustain it up to the Supreme Court. The judiciary, the legislators, and the executive are in the pocket of Tinubu. The law enforcement agents, the INEC, they're all in the pocket of Tinubu. It's already a government of one man, and it's very terrible, I tell you. So we already know what Atiku and Obi are following this case to the end to document it, for future reference that these people have combined effort to destroy Nigeria further. Quite unfortunate. So let's see what is being written here. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Chief Justice Olukayode Ariwola's decision to constitute the Supreme Court panel that will hear the appeal arising from the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal is a hurried move to deprive the petitioner's justice. Former AD to ex-President Goodluck Jonathan, Jackson Ude, alleges. Jackson claims the CJN wants to rush a ruling in favor of President Bola Tinubu in a bid to evade whatever ruling the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Illinois, will rule in the certificate case of President Tinubu. Justice Jeffrey Gilbert of the U.S. District Court had reserved ruling on whether or not to order the Chicago State University to release the academic records of Bola Tinubu to Atiku Abubakar. According to Jackson, Justice Ariwola is now rushing to constitute the Supreme Court justice that would toe the line of the appeal court judges who upheld Tinubu's election. In his words, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Olukayode Ariwola, is in a hurry to preempt whatever ruling the U.S. court will deliver by hurrying to set up the Supreme Court panel on the presidential election petitions and rush a ruling in favor of Bola Tinubu. Justice Jeffrey Gilbert of the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Illinois, had a reserved ruling on whether or not to order the Chicago State University to release academic results of Tinubu to Atiku Abubakar. And that is, Justice Ariwola is a stooge of Tinubu, is now rushing to select Supreme Court justices that would toe the line of the appeal court judges who upheld sham election of Tinubu. Okay, so recall that presidential candidate of the Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi actually rejected the outcome of the tribunal election, and which favored Tinubu, or which was ruled in favor of Tinubu, and have vowed to appeal the tribunal judgment at the Supreme Court. And they have 14 days timeline to file that appeal for the Supreme Court to handle it. At the same time, there's also a court case between Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar in United States District of Illinois, trying to exhume Tinubu's certificate from the Chicago State University to validate its authenticity. And that case has been dragging, and Judge Gilbert of that court in the U.S. has reserved that ruling whether or not to order the CSU to release Tinubu's certificate. I will learn that certificate has been released, but I doubt if it is true. But what is happening here is that ahead of the ruling from the U.S. court concerning release of Tinubu's certificate from the Chicago State University, Justice Ariwola of Nigerian Supreme Court has, started rushing to put the Supreme Court team together, or Supreme Court panel together, that will handle that case, probably to provide a ruling before the court in the U.S. will also do their ruling, so that it will whatever they do in the U.S. will be of no effect and will not have any play in the Supreme Court ruling in Nigeria. Again, we know that whatever they are doing here in Nigeria is to favor Tinubu. All right. Tinubu has bought his way through, and people have sold their conscience for money, and now they have to deliver because they must have collected something from Tinubu. That is the truth. Either by cash or by way of political appointment or by way of any favor or kindness. So we know that that judgment is not going to go anywhere in the Supreme Court. It is the way the appeal court did theirs through the tribunal. Okay, it's quite an unfortunate situation, we know. So the Punch reported that multiple sources at the Apex Court said the identities of the justices that may be named members of the Supreme Court panel were still unknown, even though the panel will be constituted next week. Okay. One of the sources at the court said there is no information that the panel or the justice that would make up the panel for now. What we know is that members of the panel may be named this week, latest Wednesday. Okay. So somebody is saying here at the reaction level, the case that is already gone, you are saying rubbish to show that you are talking, forgetting that all these threats or threat you people are threatening the judiciary never move them. Okay, the certificate issue has been dealt with. The university has written to the court that Tinubu graduated. From there, stop your daydreaming. So, no, it's not about whether he graduated. What kind of certificate did they give to Tinubu? Want to compare the certificate they gave to Tinubu to what Tinubu submitted to INEC here in Nigeria? Because we've seen it's going to be a case of perjury or a case of forgery if actually he graduated. If he did not graduate, it's still a case of perjury as well. So, and that will be at a higher level. Okay. Somebody say, may the merciful God forgive those insulting others for whatever reason because they don't know what they are doing. If there is a delay, it will still be said it is denial of justice. Nothing done that pleases the world. Both Atiku and Obi will be disgraced at Supreme Court. Lobaton, Olujode Baba, can you imagine? Okay, Nigeria is in deep situation that is, we don't know how Nigeria will get out of the pit it has been now. Somebody said the CJN and Tinubu boy now, we know, and that is the case. CJN is Tinubu boy. Okay, so it's quite unfortunate that Nigeria is in this situation right now. And I don't know how Nigeria will be out of it. It's quite unfortunate situation. So that is what is being said here, that the CJN is racing to put up a panel together so as to preempt the U.S. court against Peter Obi and Atiku. That was Jackson Ude making his own comment there. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.